Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through my AFL Fantasy team review for round 7 in what was another really poor week for me. Let's be honest here, I was getting better scores in the bye rounds than I was in the non-bye rounds, just looking at it here. So yeah, that just shows how poor of a week it was for me, and really just shows to me how how behind I am compared to other sides, I guess. So anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the recap. So round 7, a score of 1989, team value of 19.685 mil, and a round score of 34k, basically 35k, and an overall rank of 7300. And yeah, this season is just going from bad to worse. The only thing I did right was get the captaincy option right in Max Corners. He was the top score, but yeah, you just look at that forward line and you just realise how poor it was. A couple of 90s and then a 60, a 50, a 40 and a 30 score. So yeah, just really poor. Ruckman didn't fire as well, and my rookie roulette, I lost 36 points on. So yeah, if I got the 36 points there, that round rank probably goes up to like 24 to 26k, somewhere around there. And I'm probably 7,000 rather than 7,300. But yeah, Harry Sheasel, he turned out all right. Lockie Whitfield did his job. Hayden Young did his job. And that's about where the defence ends. Elliot Yeo's coming back down to life, I guess, a 93 average and 82, even though it was a really good Supercoach score. He's just... yeah, he's doing all right. He's not one that I'm going to sort of trade out just yet, as there's a lot of other issues, but I don't think he's going to be a top 6 forward. Top 6 defender, sorry. Just given the fact that he seems to settle on that 80 to 90 score, and that was even with, I think, a goal as well. He just doesn't get the marks needed to get the big scores. And it seems like he's getting a little bit, even though that was one of the hardest matchups of the year, that Gold Coast matchup, it just seems like he got smoked in the midfield and not getting those cheap possessions, it seems like. So then we have Riley Bonner at 80. He's just sort of trudging along. I wanted to get him out by now, but there's been a lot of other issues, and that's one thing that I think is going to be a major reflection on this year, is just picking the guys with big job security, rookies. And yeah, Holding and McKercher was probably the way to go, given that it was only a knock and then he was right back in it. And so yeah, picking him would have been a lot better, as McKercher was never going to get dropped. So that was probably a decision that I need to look back on next year, and that's why I think next year I'm going to give myself sort of a dot point structure of what to do, as I think that will make it a lot easier and make the moves a lot clearer. I took the Howe score, which in the end cost me 3 points in this line. But if I put Closey off the field and Graham on the field, it cost me 24 points in the end, and that was really annoying. As it was only about 6 points with about 10 minutes to go, and then Will Graham went and tackled, I think, another 4 times and got a handball as well to get another 18 points on Closey. And that ended up being a 24-point gap, which sort of sucks, but an 80 from Howes and then Graham going along nicely. Probably need to, I guess, move one of these two on and upgrade them soon, but there's other problems in the side at the moment. So that's the defence. The midfield, Jack Steele, 72. He looked so good to start the year, and then it's just gone back down to earth, an 87 and a 72. Has North Melbourne this week, averaging 109. He's still a good, he's still going well for the season with the 109. It's just hurting at the moment because it looks a little bit injured. And yeah, it seems like all the picks that I have at the moment are failing. Bontempelli, a 96. Yeah, he's just sucked this year, to be honest with you. Average of 100. It's going to be a good pick next year. Watch it. It just seems like that's the go with Bontempelli. 1 year on, 1 year off. I think that's happened the last 3 years at least. So yeah, him averaging 101 for the year isn't good. Then you have Zach Butters, 98. Got close to the ton, but didn't get the ton as well. His second sub 100 score of the year. He's going all right as well, 105 average. So, I mean, my midfield isn't going bad. It's just other people have had massive midfielders, and that kind of sucks. Nick Martin, 113. He did his job yet again. Only 2 sub 100 scores and a low of 85. He's been the best choice of the whole year, I would say. Nick Dacos brought him in, and for the Anzac Day game, as he seems to do really well against Essendon, and he's just not firing at the moment. 27 touches, 2 marks, 4 tackles, just not getting the marks that we need, and that is really hurting his score, as you can see here. So yeah, I'm just disappointed in that, but I had to cover him off sometime soon, so that was the choice there. Matty Roberts, 82, didn't do the greatest in the first half against the Hawks, but I think he had a 38 or something last quarter to really come home strong and get 21 touches, 9 marks. A little bit worried about this Giants game, as one, it is currently raining in Sydney, and I believe it is going to be raining over the weekend. So I'm a little bit worried that he has a wet game, and I'm pretty sure in the last wet game, I'm pretty sure it was this, I want to say it was the Collingwood game, he didn't score the greatest, so not looking like I'm worried that he potentially doesn't score the greatest, especially because it seems like a lot of his points came through kickouts, and they were using obviously so, they were using Nick Blakey and Ollie Florent, so just wondering if Matt Roberts' role is slightly declining at the moment, but he's got really good job security and so should hold. Close seat 59, and this is what happens with wingers, a perfect start and then he slowly started to decline, just not getting the ball as much, and took a knock as well, so I think even though his time on ground was still 81%, so yeah, probably got lured into it being an easy matchup per se, and that's why I went for him on field over Graham, and probably going to again make the same mistake with fielding Graham over Closey next week, and Closey's probably going to fire, so that's going to suck, but I'm going to have to do it just because Graham's on fire at the moment. Where do they play? They play at Gabba, and then they play 2 TAO stadiums. I'm probably going to get rid of Closey for the TAO stadiums as games, as they are both in the wet, and the wet is probably not going to be as good for Sam Close, but probably going to be good for Graham. So that's the reasoning behind that in a couple of weeks' time. I linked Darcy in the defensive line. Should have honestly linked him in the Gawn and him in the forward line, as that would have worked a lot better, I think. But then again, I don't think I would have had enough defenders or whatnot. It was I'm still struggling for defenders off field. But anyway, yeah, it would have been a lot better if I just gone and gotten Graham on field here. So yeah, I did probably make a couple mistakes here. If I'd had Darcy Wilson in here and gotten off Tom Powell's score. Tom Powell had a horrific position. Don't know what Clarko was doing, bringing in Will Phillips and Jai Simpkin. They're just not good enough for AFL footy, honestly, at the moment. So yeah, we talked about Closey. Darcy Wilson, 92, he looks really good, but he's a winger, so he's obviously going to have some bad games eventually. As you see with this patch here of a 35 and a 50 and a 57, a 63, sort of a 61 as well. So yeah, he's averaging 65, which is right around what a winger should average. North Melbourne this week, maybe he gets a couple of cheap marks because of or a couple of intercept marks just because they're kicking out of defence isn't the greatest. But we'll see about that one. I do like his high TOG as well, 91% a lot in 2 of the last 3 weeks, as well as an 86, so shows that he's finally getting on the field, which is good. And Jeremy Sharp, 39, he's probably going to be moved on soon. Max Gawn, 134, he did what he needed to do, and the VC locked in, I thought was going to be a good start to the week, as I think Gawn as well as Nick Martin locked in, I think were the 2 scores that I had locked in early, and then the Saints game came around and threw my week into hell. So yeah, that happened. Then we move on. Royal Marshall, 73, got a knock early and never looked the same again. And yeah, that's 73 against Port. Against Sweet, he got smacked by Sweet, basically. Isaac Heaney, 21 and 3, got tagged in the last by McGuinness, and that basically just allowed Warner, Gordon, and others to run around, and basically, well, the game was dead by then, but Heaney, if he didn't get tagged, probably ends up with something like 25 and 4, which it would be a really good output, and he's probably still going to get the 3 votes, which is going to be really funny, just because the guys that look really good on the stat sheet really just picked it up in junk time. Then you have Luke Jackson, 61. He's probably going to go soon, but there's just so many other issues at the moment with him and with other guys in the side. So yeah, this is what I mean by just everything's turning bad at the one moment. Then you have Tom Powell here, a 34. He needs to probably go soon, but I'm going to give him another week just because if his role returns, he's still going to be probably close to a top 6 forward, so going to need to probably hold him there. Then you have McRae, 90. He looked back to his sort of best with those non-disposal points, a 7 and a 6. So he's added, 91 points in the last 2 weeks in non-disposals, in marks and tackles. Also grabbed a goal and a couple of free kicks for. So he looks really good at the moment. So comes up against Hawks. Hopefully on the wing he can grab a lot of just non-disposal points there. Ollie Dempsey started off really good, but needs to go now just because he had a 50, and that was really, really poor. And then Hugo Garcia ended up a 41. So yeah, if I had linked on, if I swapped these two around here, then that's, or even just swapped, swap these two around, swap those two around. And then honestly, swapped, I don't know exactly, but yeah, I could have easily gotten another, I could have gotten more points, basically, is what I'm trying to say here. And so it sort of did suck that Seth Campbell was a bad. If I hadn't emergencyed Seth Campbell, then I would have emergencyed the likes of Darcy Wilson. I probably would have got the Jeremy Sharp score. So in the end, it didn't really count for anything. But yeah, just so many low scores by the rookies at the on the bench, and sort of those last spots on field didn't help this week. Seth Campbell, 37, he's got to go as well. Charlie Lazaro is still chugging along, but his role seems to be chopped in and out because of the likes of Will Phillips and Jai Simpkin, so he seems to be resigned to like a 40 and 50 each week. And then Sean Manor, Sean Manor was sort of the start of the bad picks and the downfall of my side back in like round 4 when I picked him up, as he hasn't played since and doesn't look like playing given how good Geelong are. So that basically is the review, a very short one, only 12 minutes, just going through it at the moment. It's just, very tough at the moment to see where the side's sort of going. Plenty of mistakes at the moment. Still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys to upgrade most likely before we even get to the Luke Jackson, Tom Powell, Riley Bonner upgrades as well, and then still having to upgrade Elliot Yeo. So as well as Primo's getting hurt, it's tough times at the moment, and we're copping a lot of subs as well. So that's not helping either. And so the cash gen is really starting to hurt now, as I'm still about $1 million behind what other people are, and that's really starting to come true with the what they can do with upgrades and what I can't do. So that pretty much is the video, and I'll see you guys in the trade targets and cash cows for round 8 on Wednesday, and then you'll have the Thursday video with my tips and my trades for both fantasy and Supercoach. So I'll see you guys in those videos. Bye guys.